special event alert.
Get out of bed and run! Because you are late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I am your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Gentlemen, good evening.
Our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
Acoustics by Flannel.
And our newest purveyor of space dad jokes, Mike John.
What's going on, everybody?
Woohoo!
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other lesser services as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover.
Late for Changeover.
I wanted, that's all because of your orbital mechanics joke last week, Mike.
Well, the dad joke was good.
It's a space dad. You had another one too, and
Yeah.
I can't remember it. But
I've got all sorts of zingers up my sleeve.
well,
man.
singers is a loose term, but
So,
I mean, to some, airman basic. Yeah, that was probably a zinger. It's like, oh, that guy's pretty funny.
Oh, cut me deep.
But any second term guy, they're like, oh, Jesus, this guy.
the good conduct medal's up for new night. It's up tonight.
Yeah, did you pass that out last time?
Well, no, I didn't.
Should have went to
So
Jake.
and Jake got it last time. So
There you
that's
go.
2 for Jake.
Oh.
Just by
Not a formal
just by
presentation.
showing up. Jake got
That's
one by default. So,
Two for no other reason than I was here,
Mike,
and one for sweet
it's
victory.
usually
It's a
the
plus.
best performance of the podcast gets the good conduct medal.
Woo!
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice.
Yeah.
That's a huge award.
I'm sure
Huge.
Highly coveted.
I'm waiting for that's an Air Force one. I'm trying to get my hands on the Space Force good conduct medal.
Is it going to be looking any different?
Yeah, it's slightly different. I think it's a different color ribbon. But
All the medals and ribbons are basically black and white, and a little bit of blue
That's perfect.
for space.
Want to get a recruiting ribbon so we can have it for Eric because Eric loves that one.
Yeah, that's a good one, huh?
That's my favorite for sure.
It is. It is.
I don't want the Medal of Honor. I want a recruiting medal.
That Medal of Honor is overrated.
But you have to die for that. I just want a recruiting medal.
Ugh.
It was funny. Every once in a while, I get caught up in the reaction videos, and it's crazy how these people on YouTube are just like, "Hey, today I'm reacting to this movie or to this song or to this whatever," and you look at the views, and it's like 400,000 views, and I'm one of them, obviously, because I'm watching them.
Yeah,
but I watched some of them watch First Blood for the first time, right? And they can't understand because they're 20s watching a movie that was in 1980 when the military was down, really down. And when the cop was like, hey, wearing that flag, that's not looking too great, right? And they're like, what are they talking about? I'm like, yeah, it was pretty shitty back then, right?
Disrespectful.
But they read his bio, right? The sheriff looks him up and they're like, John Rambo, Medal of Honor winner. And you're like, whoa, they just threw that one in there, Medal of Honor winner. Not a lot of walking around Medal of Honor winners from Vietnam, right?
Nope.
But John J. Rambo was. So
He's the man.
that's cool.
And one of the things I want to do is I want to start running, and I'll do it for next week, our E7 in the movies list. Right?
Oh yeah.
That'll be good.
We got Gunny Highway, right? He's one of them. What was Arlie Ermey's name in Full Metal Jacket? Because he was an E7, I think, too.
I don't remember his name, but he was the DI, the drill instructor.
He was a DI. So, and then you have what's his name?
There's a bunch out there, man. We'd have to research them.
Sergeant Horvath from
Saving Private Ryan.
Private Ryan. Right?
Yeah.
So it's just an ongoing list. I think we should keep throwing in there.
I like that one, Master Sergeant Eric Perrott.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Well, there's Master Sergeant Mike Johns too. So,
Yes, sir.
right. All right. Thanks, guys. Go ahead, Eric. What do you got for history today?
All right, guys. Tonight we're going to do something in honor of a recently deceased individual. I'm going to give you a quick quote, real quick. This gentleman was portrayed in the movie Apollo 13 by Gary Sinise. Anybody have an idea who we're talking about? With the exception of Marty. Okay. Ken Mattingly.
Oh,
Ken Mattingly.
Never would have guessed it.
So sometimes this Zoom room can be real dead.
Oh,
Lieutenant Dan is the only thing I was thinking about.
That's good. Ken Mattingly was an astronaut on the Apollo 13 mission.
He didn't go to the moon in Forrest Gump.
Well, let me finish. It's my history.
Okay.
Oh,
He
yeah.
died.
History.
He died recently at the age of 87. Okay. Ken Mattingly was a NASA astronaut who was scrubbed from the Apollo 13 mission a few days before launch after being exposed to measles, then wound up helping devise a plan to return the crew safely to Earth following an onboard explosion. He recently died October 31st in Arlington, Virginia. He was 87. Now, if you guys remember the movie, Gary Sinise played him. He's one that basically put the plan together, saved the mission, and was able to bring those guys back.
He was the one mirroring everything that they were doing down there. By mentally being one of the astronauts. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yes. He
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Guy had a hell of a history. Rest in peace, young fella.
Well, he didn't go to the moon. Well, Apollo 13 didn't go to the moon, but he did a couple shuttle flights after that, and he did actually go to the moon, didn't he?
I don't believe he did. I think.
Yeah, Apollo 16.
Okay. So
Yeah,
he did make
1972.
Did he walk on it? Did he walk on the moon?
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't either.
I would assume if he went, he walked. I mean, there was a bunch of astronauts that ended up going with those follow-on Apollo missions. So
yeah, sure. He was a Navy guy, right? Didn't he make admiral?
He did.
yeah,
Yep.
So
He retired as a rear admiral.
that's
worked in the private sector.
1-star admiral, isn't it? Rear admiral's a 1-star, I think.
I do believe you're correct.
I don't know. Do they have?
Seems like a lot of work to look up.
Good guy. Passed away, 87. Pretty amazing fella.
Pretty
it's
cool.
a 2-star.
2-star.
Not rear
Hey, do they
admirals,
have
no.
names for admirals like the Army has names for generals? Or
What
is
do
it
you
just
mean?
once you make admiral, you're a 1-star admiral, 2-star? Because Army has
Well, it's the
you
rear
got-
admiral.
brigadier general's a 1-star, major general's a 2-star, lieutenant general's a 3-star. Do the admirals have
general's a
names like
5.
that? Or is
They
it just
have to.
like, hey, he's an admiral. How many stars? 2-star.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Rear admiral being one. I'm sure the rank structures probably give names.
There's got to be like a little catchy saying for it, right? Air Force is be my little general,
Yeah,
brigadier, major, lieutenant.
That's right,
Good
Dad.
call.
I still remember
I
it. Be my
remember
little
that,
general.
Dad.
Shit! Wow,
That's amazing.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That was a basic training call out right there. Be like,
Nice.
so weird. So an 07 and an 08 are both a rear admiral, but they're spelled a little bit different. RDML versus RADM, and then your 09 is a vice admiral, and then your 10 is a admiral.
Oh, okay.
So 2
All right.
rears and a vice.
You got
Yeah.
rears, then rear, then
the
vice.
Navy way.
2 rears and a vice.
2 rears. More rears than we can handle.
Did you make rear today? Hey, I made rear today.
You know you did.
Oh, yeah.
You'll always be my rear admiral.
Navy
1
always-
rear plus 1 rear is 1 vice.
God. You know when the Navy was created, it was created in different times. You could say all that stuff and not have the connotations that you have today.
No, I'm sure.
I think they got it for a good reason, though.
Well, wait till we start going on extended space flights.
Oh,
walking
You're up
around.
there for 500 days. You're like, oh,
Yep.
geez. That's longer than
A
a
lot of
tour
rear
across the
admiraling.
Atlantic.
A lot of rear admiral.
You get
Oh, come on.
Uranus Admiral.
Yeah.
Uranus. Sorry.
Uranus.
Oh, Uranus.
So there was again, I was telling you, I was watching these reaction videos, and I watched somebody react to Police Academy. You remember Police Academy?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic, man.
There's a
Classic.
scene in Police Academy where he puts that shoe polish around his bullhorn and he has it around his mouth. And that sparked me, and I was like, fuck, I remember when I was a lieutenant and my best friend, Bill Doman, he was another lieutenant. And so they put us on these fire support team tracks. And you just sat out there for a week. And all you did was watch the impact area. And they'd call you, they'd say, okay, we want to run this target, this mission, or give us a call for fire. And you'd sit there and you do it all week. So you're just sitting in there in these fire support tracks. You got a laser, and the tracks were designed under the old construct of Cold War. So you could button up the whole track and be chemical pressurized, right? And you even had masks that would plug into the vehicle, almost like the air chemical mask. They would plug into the vehicle air system and stuff.
Yeah.
Just breathe
Part
the
of that-
exhaust or what?
Yeah.
Sometimes it felt like it.
Nap
The army
time.
way.
Actually, everybody took those hoses because it would blow air, and you put it down your uniform. You're like, that was your air conditioning.
Cool off.
But part of that feature was that you could button up the whole track, be chemically safe, but then you couldn't see out, right? The turret guy had his little visor things that he could look out of, but the commander or the lieutenant had a periscope, right? And there was a literal periscope that you could angle up and down and go left and right on it. So he could sit at this little station, have his map, and he could look in this periscope, and it would go out, and you would never have to get out of the track. Well, when we were second lieutenants and we had E6s as crew chiefs, do you remember grease pencils? Do you remember those goddamn?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, man. We wore them all the
Yep.
time.
So
Used them all the time.
His E6 greased that whole eyepiece that only the lieutenants could see. And so he was calling a mission. We were supposed to be doing it under chemical environment. So he was calling a mission for half an hour. And he came out, and the commander came up and was like, hey, how's everything going? And he walked up to him, and he's like, hey, sir, we're doing good. And the commander sat and stared at him and let him do his whole brief to him. I was like, God damn it, Lieutenant, go clean your face. And he was like, what are you talking about? Because you don't have any mirror. And he looked at his little camel mirror, and he had that big black circle right there. And I was like, wow,
Nice.
what a
Nice.
great prank, man. That was,
Yep.
it didn't happen to me, and I felt bad for my buddy, and it took him a lot. He was mad, too. It took him a year.
It doesn't come off easy.
Nope.
No, you would think
It's
it would,
not.
right?
No, it's
Those old
It's
grease
sturdy.
pencils, man. That was-
So as a cop, guys, the desk sergeant, once you assume duties as the desk sergeant or the security controller for the security side, you had to do a comm check with the command post, which was a red phone, a direct line.
What, like once a shift?
Every
or something?
shift, you have to pick it up. Yeah, this
Oh,
is
just to
CSE.
make sure it works, right?
Do a comm check, right?
Yeah.
So they would always do the grease shit, the ear and the mouth. Same kind of thing, man.
That sucks because
we got a hold of gold glitter lotion. And if
Oh.
you put it on light, it wouldn't be obvious and squishy on your ear. But man, your ear would just look glittery and gorgeous as hell.
Oh,
gold glitter lotion.
It was
Wow.
glitter lotion. Like it was like, you know.
Jake specializes in glitter lotion. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
The-
I
the
was
worst of it-
degaussing. I was degaussing the freaking CDs. I promise.
Degaussing.
I wasn't in a strip club. It was degaussing.
nice. Oh man.
Why is your wallet all glittery?
yeah,
But that's
It
the
gets
worst. If you
everywhere,
pick
I
the phone
promise.
Up and there's something wet on that.
Oh, squish.
That's the same as
Nasty.
a wet willy. So
Yeah.
anyway, it got me thinking about pranks. Yeah, it got me thinking about pranks. And Jake, you told that one prank with Danny Brightman, right?
Yeah, man. He
That is such a good story. That is so creative. Right?
he didn't like the mom comments, like, like anytime you said your mom, and Brightman would give him one or two and be nice about it. He's like, hey, I don't play that game.
Yeah.
Don't bring her up. Not
Don't
at
talk
all.
about mom.
Yep. Well, we had an admin person that would constantly do it. And this was back in the day when Paris Hilton and those little chihuahuas were a big deal. And we were at Vandenberg, which is just north of Santa Barbara. Brightman took out basically a Craigslist ad and said, whole litter of teacup chihuahuas, free, just call, but only call. I work all day, only call at night between like 10 and 2 in the morning. And it wasn't easy to get a new phone number back then, right? Like,
No,
you'd have to change
right,
your
right.
freaking provider or something. He was getting so many calls, and after a while, people were getting pissed. And he's getting pissed because he's like, I don't know why I'm getting called all the time. Oh, like just flipping out. He ended up having to change his number, getting a whole new number because of it, because he didn't know why it was happening.
That is
And after he
brilliant.
comes into work and just bitches and moans, he's like, I had to change my number. Brightman let it hang for like
he did.
weeks.
That's
He let it
great.
hang for weeks. And until the guy changed his number, he's like, you gonna make those mom comments again? Like,
Oh man, that is so good. How you would have the restraint? That's how if I was clever enough to pull something like that off, I'd have to tell him right away. Right.
yeah. Well,
Wow.
him and
That's
I had stuff going back and forth. We would leave things on each other's desk. So my uncle is a taxidermist. And so I go out there and I'm like, hey, you got any Jennies? Like, what do you got here? What kind of tanned wieners do you have? And my uncle's like, actually, there's a whole drawer of
Oh
that.
my
And I was
god.
like, okay, what do we got this? And it's a chunk of tanned bear skin that was the preface. It was the actual sheath for the Red Rocket.
Wow.
And I left it on Brightman's desk. And he's holding it and he goes, no, this is something, right? 2 weeks later, I go on vacation. I come back and there's a gift on my desk. Danny just had happened to get his dog neutered and asked for him back.
Wow.
So I get a freaking those banana pepper, don't forget a machete, like banana pepper jar full of chloroform, two dog balls, and then a variety of cat balls at the bottom. I'm like,
what?
in a nice wrapped up bag and everything, left on my desk. I opened it up. I was like, oh,
Wow.
This is a good one.
That is great.
I'm like, where'd you get the cat balls? He goes, he had extra. He just threw them in there. Thought it was funny. He asked his vet for the balls back. He's like, what are you doing with them? He goes, I'm going to put them in chloroform and give them to a friend.
Oh my god.
He's like, all right, you want some extras?
Oh my god.
Sounds good.
Yep.
See, cops weren't that creative. All we had to do. So in Charleston, the C-130 parking ramp had Charlie parking spots, right? 1 through 15 or something. Charlie 1 through 15.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we'd always send the brand new airman over to the command post and tell him to get the keys for one of the C-130s because we have to move it. Get a call from the captain in the command post. Stop sending your fucking airmen over here. We don't got no fucking keys.
It's not
for the
creative,
C-130.
but the consistency of it is what you got to admire.
You got to keep it going.
You know,
Oh,
you
it
got,
works every time too.
Yeah,
Captain, I need the keys for the C-130 parked on Charlie 3. We're going to move it to Charlie 16. You're
Right.
a dumbass.
Right.
Get out of here.
Mike, any pranks?
Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff we would do, mainly when I was down at Schriever. But the one that I thought of first was the over-the-phone flight physical.
That's a reality now.
Yeah, so
right. It kind of is.
So
yeah.
back in the early 2000s, that was not a reality. But you would get a new airman come on crew, and we had one guy that was really good at talking on the phone and going through all the variety of things you could make someone do. And he was very convincing, very about 50-50 on whether people were going to fall for it. And when people fell for it, they fell for it on the long ball, like, the Hail Marys. And like we had this one kid come on, and he was just this little, real frail, like Mexican dude. And real nice guy, but he was, soft spoken, and he was just little. He maybe weighed 110 pounds.
Yeah.
So he comes on crew, and it's like his second day, and he's trying to figure things out. And we kind of, we set everything up. We go, hey man, eventually you're going to have this, within the first week, you're going to get a phone call from Flight Med, and they're going to do an over the phone flight physical. You're going to think it's a bunch of bullshit, but you're going to have to do like push-ups and like take your pulse, and they'll have your supervisor come in to verify that everything's,
That's even
everything's real. So like it was all set up. Yeah, and you'd have, there'd be 15 people in watching this guy running around the ops floor doing wind sprints and push-ups.
Wow.
Well, anyway,
Really,
this
you
kid
did
that I
it
was
on
talking.
the ops floor. That is awesome.
Oh yeah, on the ops floor. The commander came in and watched one time,
Nice.
but really legitimized the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, we got this kid going pretty good. Like he went to the bathroom to go do a check his balls and make sure he didn't have cancer. But the coup de grace was our crew chief at the time was this big old redneck dude, bald head, and he was salty as could be, and he was totally in on this joke. He loved this joke. And so anyway, we're going, and we're like, dude, you gotta pull out the glove and have him go get the prostate check. And
yes.
So there was one yellow glove in the break room for like washing dishes, right? So
one of those
so my buddy
latex gloves?
who's on the phone is talking to this kid. And he's like, hey, all right, we've got one last check, and this one's a big ask. And so all of a sudden the kid gets really quiet, and he goes, okay, and he puts the phone down. And he turns around to this tech sergeant, and the tech sergeant's just sitting there with this big shitty grin. He goes, I need to do a prostate exam. And the tech sergeant goes, I know exactly how to do that one. Go to the break room and get the yellow glove. Kid comes back in with the yellow glove, holding it like this.
Oh.
The tech sergeant takes that yellow glove, snatches it out of his hand, and puts it on his hand like this, and just snaps it back. And the kid just went.
Oh,
and then the whole ops floor erupted with laughter at that time. The jig was up. But,
oh my God, that is awesome.
But yeah, the over the phone flight physicals, you get a guy that you could get them going for a good 10 minutes, but after a few minutes, they're like, this is ridiculous. I don't know how to take my pulse, and they usually give up and
exactly.
fall out. But eventually, you get one on the hook, and it was always fun.
And you gotta be selective, especially in space, because you got smartasses coming in anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And they haven't really been broken by basic training per se, right? And so they kind of know that. Yeah, I mean, they're space assholes, really. I mean, so you got to get the one who's gullible enough, and that's a rare thing.
Yeah, but you'll get one at least once a year.
Did you guys ever fall for any pranks that were targeted towards you?
I was arrested one time for a security incident. But I mean, I actually had a security incident that it was the whole arresting me thing that was the prank. But I snatched some dudes. People would leave their line badges on like their jacket when they would come in, and you'd snatch it and go hide it and whatever.
Yeah.
And I did that to one guy, and then I went to the gym for 2 hours, and so he was stuck in the mod for 2 hours without his badge. Well, I come back, and the flight chief at the time had the security forces flight chief in there, and they were apparently homeboys, right? And so, I come in and I walk onto the ops floor, and I look at the fishbowl, and I see a bunch of cops and the flight chief, and I'm like, God damn it, you're in trouble now. And so sure enough, he does this to me, and I walk in the flight chief's office, and they start giving me the riot act on, not doing stupid shit like that, and turn around and go ahead and put your hands behind your back and all that good stuff, and walk me out front and put me down on the ground and start searching me. And
that was when my job was wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. You guys love putting people on the ground.
Love that shit.
I would always move my keys to my back pocket. I'm like,
I mean, you get the frozen flight caps, frozen jackets, those things.
Mm-hmm.
The cat card in the cup and freezing that.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yep.
when I was in field artillery and I first got out there, and we had that same fire support vehicle that I was talking about, which was a 113. It was a M113 armored personnel carrier, modified to hold a laser and be your fire support track. The staff sergeant there, the E6, at one time we were out in the field, and he was like, "Hey, sir, part of preventive maintenance and checks is that the tracks will bang against the right, and it weakens the armor along that hull. You know, after you do so many miles,
Sure.
it's got to be, the integrity of the hull has to be checked." How we do that is you take this sledge and you literally have to bang on different parts on the inside of that track to see if they sound different. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to make a good impression. And so I start and I'm threading my hand in between the wheels, like bang, 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 bang. And I went all the way around one side and they came around the other side. And it occurred to me, it's like, I have no fucking idea what it sounds like if it's thin or thick.
Yeah, exactly. This whole thing could
And then
be
I look up and there's 5 guys in the crew snickering and laughing their ass off. And they're like, ah! And I'm like, okay, fair enough. I feel like a
Nice.
moron. But I was so earnest. You know, you're so earnest, like the guy doing the physical or anybody else. That's the hook. That's the best part.
Well, especially when you've got people playing into it, and like your supervisor comes in and goes, "Yeah, this is a legit thing."
God, who was the guy masquerading as the flight doc?
Oh, it's just another airman on crew. His girlfriend at the time was a nurse, so he knew a bunch of medical terminology and shit like that.
Did you ever do the Captain D's one? That's so much less, but it's so simple and funny. Because
have them call Captain D's the restaurant?
Yeah, on the Sibbers floor, you had the unclassed phone was in a phone booth. It was soundproof, but it was clear. It was a window and a door. It was all glass. So
it's behind you on the left.
Yeah, so you could see who was on the phone, but you couldn't hear him. And so you tell the airman, and I think Captain D's is just Colorado. Captain D's, DEES seafood. So, and you tell the guy, is like, "Hey man, there's a Captain D's and he wants you to give him a call. He's got something to talk to you about." So the guy down there, and you can't hear a thing. You can just see the guy just say, "Hey, hey, there's Captain D's." And you're like, "Oh, Captain D's, I'm supposed to give you a call. You had something for me?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's Captain D's. What do you want to order?" And he's like, "I was supposed to call you." And you just see the guy going from like comprehension to anger and then to look out and see everybody laughing at him. So it's not even close to over the phone physical, which is I'd never heard of. That's so good.
That's a good one.
That's really good.
This wasn't so much a prank, but it happened to me. I was an entry controller to a weapons storage area, a nuclear weapons storage area in Turkey.
Oh,
so you had a pedestrian gate where the people came and exchanged badges.
Yeah.
And then you had a vehicle entrapment area, which I was supposed to do the inspections. So I'm an A1C. I just put it on. And we were going through an exercise for the area supervisor, who was a tech sergeant.
Okay.
And I'm terrified of the guy. He's a tech sergeant. I'm freaking 19.
Yeah, right.
Well, at night, the lights are turned in and they illuminate the restricted area for the vehicle entrapment and the pedestrians. And you can't see into the area. Now you can see out in the front parking lot because that's all lit up too. But behind you and the area is all dark.
Okay.
So the dumbass tech sergeant has just failed his quality control evaluation. Stupid mistakes. So I am talking to the entry controller inside who exchanges badge. And I'm saying, Tech Sergeant Market is the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. He can't fight his way out of a bag. Now, I can't see the area, but him and the quality control evaluator who just failed him are standing there listening to me badmouth this tech sergeant for about 10 minutes before they finally said, "If you're done, would you come in and buzz us in?" And I was
shit. Did you have the chill up your spine?
Oh,
Mother.
And the tech sergeant, after the evaluator left, the master sergeant left, he said, "I want to see you after we break guard mount and turn the weapons in." I'm like, oh fuck. So I stepped all in that one, boy, because
Damn.
I was chewing him upside down. I mean, this guy, you're fucking dumb shit, bad.
Yeah.
But he let me have it afterwards.
Because the 19-year-old knows better.
Oh, well, yeah.
Exactly. You got so much experience.
I could have passed his eval, though. I really
Well,
could. He dropped
Well,
the ball.
that's probably true.
He dropped the
You're probably
ball.
right. You're probably right.
He dropped the ball. It was just an
Man.
ass chewing I won't forget.
Well, we could talk ass chewing.
I've had a few of those.
So, but some of those topics I had is like, hey, when have you fallen asleep? So we'll talk about that later, right? I used to always fall asleep and get my hair cut.
Mop 4.
oh, mop
Yeah,
four.
mop four
That's
is
a
a
good
tough one.
sign.
Yeah, mop is a tough one.
You
Too.
put your freaking gear on, and then I would pop that collar and hook it right underneath my filter. It keeps your head perfectly
Oh,
up.
yeah. Well,
And
we
it's
wait a
had
got that
second, wait a
nice
second.
cup on your jaw.
We got a space baby on there who's
Out.
probably
Yeah, I have no
never
clue what
been
you guys are
issued a
talking about.
mask. So,
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I had
But-
to take mop gear when I went to Washington, D.C. on my deployment.
DC.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you had to carry and drag
That's
that shit
perfect.
around. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so annoying.
Well, I didn't have to drag it around. I left it in my hotel room at the
in the
Residence
hotel
Inn.
room.
But the
At the
process
hotel
that
room,
you had to
Eric.
sign it out and travel with it is more
Yeah, I love that fact.
And we are eventually going to talk shit stories. We
Ooh.
probably do a whole podcast episode on shit
for
stories.
sure.
So. Okay, let's get on to the news.
The news.
From first story, money.
We talking about VA again?
No,
Oh,
not getting ripped off of money. Actually, us paying a company money.
I got you.
So, from Air and Space Forces magazine, the Air Force is giving Lockheed $1 million to build the new reentry vehicle for the Sentinel. The Sentinel is the new ICBM that they're coming up with.
Damn.
So they got $1 billion. Well, not quite. $996 million contract to produce a reentry vehicle for its new Sentinel intercontinental ballistic missile by October 20th, 2039. So they got a little ways to go.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Oof.
Under this sole source acquisition deal, Lockheed will engineer, manufacture, and design the new reentry vehicle dubbed Mark 21 Alpha in several locations, including I don't know why they put this in here, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which I guess is right outside of Philly, I think. The specialized RV will carry the W87-1 warhead, which I could find nothing about, of course. Right? National laboratories are developing and producing test hardware for the warhead, expected to deploy in the early 2030s with the new Sentinel ICBM. So we're not there yet. It's coming. Right? The LGM-35 Sentinel, formerly known as the Ground-Based Strategic Deterrent, GBSD, is poised to replace 400 Minuteman III ICBMs currently in service for more than 50 years across the continental United States. So, did you guys both go, or Jake and Mike, did you guys both go to Space 200 and 300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Eric, this was a space continuing education thing. Was
I'm aware of what they are.
Totally worthless. Completely worthless. But part of those courses is like, hey, learn the SALT treaty. Learn the strategic treaties.
Yeah.
We're all blown out of the fucking water now. We don't even do them anymore. So I don't even know how many. Is that what we're allowed to have? 400 Minutemen? I have no idea. Because I think Russia pulled out of the latest one, didn't they?
They did.
So
Yep.
That's everybody's, scared that we're going to start that nuclear arms race again.
well, yeah, because NATO's pushing right up against their borders.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking
Yeah,
of that,
and I
Eric,
mean-
did you see Zelensky's outcry? The one
I need help. We're losing.
Hey, you guys got some money?
Yeah.
We're losing.
You alone?
I'll pay you back. I promise.
I'm
Yeah,
confused.
right.
I got
I
a
did.
spreadsheet that's an IOU.
I think he's hoping to secure some loans so people won't assassinate him, so they can try to get their money back later. Because
Hmm.
he's on thin ice, baby. But anyway, Jake, what were you going to say? Were you going to say something?
I don't know. I forgot.
I knew. Don't wait past 30 seconds because he was going to say something, but then
Gone.
Glides by, man.
the incoming Sentinel project features an open system architecture which allows easy upgrades as technology develops between now and 2075, which is Sentinel's planned retirement date.
Why a Sentinel? Couldn't you just reconfigure or retrofit the
You would think
freaking
so.
current ICBM nuclear
probably could.
warheads
I mean, they're
for
probably
$1 billion?
We've kept the C-130 and the A-10
Right.
around forever.
It lasts
Right?
for another 50 years without.
As long as it just flies to Russia, that's all we need, right? It's also designed to be easier to maintain. Now, this is a curious statement. It is also designed to be easier to maintain, which should minimize the security forces footprint required during maintenance time.
Don't they still have to have people in the hole for
I
maintenance?
don't know. I don't know what the security forces footprint is. Probably
Well,
a good thing
anytime-
I don't know, I suppose.
Anytime it was open and they were down there, you had to have a 2-person concept,
Well, yeah.
2-person rule,
Right.
and security
but
forces monitored it.
I guess. But does
I don't know why that
mean
would
you got,
change.
like a couple less security forces? You know, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Chinese balloon already took pictures of all that stuff anyway, so they know what we're doing.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we did that article. It was way back in the day, like February. I just looked it up, February-ish. It was those cruise missiles that are scramjet hypersonic.
I think we did. Yeah. That's cool shit. Right.
Yeah.
So why do we
mean,
need ground-based, right?
Well, look at these ICBMs, but those are ballistic and missile defense issues. You know where they're coming back in. So we are right in the middle of this second potential arms race.
Oh yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah. With the
But it's
scramjet,
all like scramjet,
missiles,
hypersonic, all this other
hypersonic glide vehicles,
stuff,
all
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you don't put them in the ground and have the ground base, where do you keep the warheads for the scramjet and the other vehicles?
Well,
that's actually a good point.
Those ones are
that's
yeah.
a good point. Yeah.
Where would you?
The scramjet ones are cruise missile stuff.
Well, eventually we're going to mount them to satellites that we can launch them from space, Eric.
I'm sure that's the next big step.
That's why Space Force is around. Come on.
That's what I hear. They have a mission.
We just can't tell you about it.
All right, so I thought it was interesting that article about awarding almost $1 billion to Lockheed when just on November 1st, right? So they were testing their Minuteman III missiles. An unarmed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile flying over the Pacific Ocean was effectively terminated by Space Launch Delta 30 on November 1st. The award contract came like at the same time.
Oop.
So the termination occurred at 12:06 a.m. Pacific time due to an unexpected anomaly that emerged during the test launch of Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. So,
Oop.
All right, let's try one of these Minuteman III. Oh, that's a bad one. Cancel it.
Here's your new billion.
You need a new missile, guys. See,
No,
look at this.
That's
look
exactly. See,
look at this old
they're unreliable.
piece of junk. This
This
old
thing
hag.
wasn't working. You need to mothball
And
that.
they're like,
thing.
you know what? You're right. Would $1 billion and a 70-year contract be good for you? And they're like, okay,
dude, that's the length of that contract is the insane part. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're like, it's just a bill. We're fine. But 70 years, you know how long they'll nurse? Like,
well, it's technically 50 years.
Well, 50, either way.
Even 50.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, it's
that's
so
just
much for,
excessive.
They're single sourcing it. That's it, right? And
yeah.
Like, okay. I guess nobody else is competing for this.
And nobody's going to see that from cradle to grave. You're going to have, 10
No.
generations.
You could get
Of
hired on the Lockheed,
contractors.
start on the Sentinel, retire. Your kid could get hired on the Lockheed,
Right?
retire, and then
His
and the
kid.
contract is still going.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
that's just crazy.
Good on him. Good on him, Tony Stark. Stark Enterprises. Very good.
I don't know how the rest of the contractor world didn't go. Foul.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, they had to call.
Throw a flag on that. How does that happen?
But I mean, it's I don't know. Contracting is so nefarious. You know how all that stuff.
Well, I get
gets
sole
done.
sourcing, but for something that big,
Yeah.
come on, and that long.
I don't know. I mean, you got companies that bid low, and they know they know they're bidding low, but once they get awarded, then they get 2-3 years into it, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to need more money for this thing." And they're
Well,
like,
then the
"Whoa."
question also becomes, how many subcontractors is Lockheed going to hire because they can't do all pieces of it? They're
I
going to
don't
bring
know,
in
man.
specialists.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they will
Yeah.
now. But
For sure.
Yeah.
It is definitely a large revenue stream.
Oh yeah,
bless, man.
huge.
$1 billion. All right, let's have some fun because this is
Fun!
pretty cool stuff, right? Let's talk some cool tech news. This is from sandbox.us. So they're talking about Special Operations Command's potential new firearm. So last year, Sandbox News reviewed the Flux Raider. Have you heard or seen what the Flux Raider is? So the Flux Raider is essentially
Badass.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And Sandbox said, "Hey, this could be a great sidearm for the Special Operations Forces." Well, now the 19th Special Forces Group is evaluating the Flux Raider for use. The Raider is a very specialized grip module for the P320 pistol from Sig Sauer, which is now the pistol of choice instead of the Beretta. And the Army adopted that P320 as the M17 and the M18. Well, what's the difference? Well, one is a 4.7-inch barrel. The other one's a 3.9-inch barrel. So one's like concealed carry. The other one's like a full-up handgun. The M17 is the full-up. The M18 is like the concealed carry. So I don't know if I should read all this or if I should just show you.
Looking at it, Marty, the collapsible stock
Yeah.
piece,
Yeah.
it looks like it's going to make it so awkward to be accurate with it.
You would think until you see this guy.
It looks cool as shit, though. I give you that.
That is that extra magazine up front is that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple thing, but it's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh,
Just to
yeah.
be able to
Quick
your
access.
You're right,
Quick load.
John's like you brought it up earlier, John's, where you're like it's a foregrip and then easily just boop, boop. And
I want to show you.
Yeah, you're activating the light, the laser, all that stuff with that forward hand.
I won't show you the whole
laser.
video because the guy gets into how he did on this course. So, but I'll show you about 3.5 minutes of this.
Believe it or not, this
Whoa.
gun, and it's called the Flux Raider. The Flux Raider is based on the SIG P320 platform. You just
Sounds
drop
like
in your
Flux Raider.
SCU and your slide, and you're gonna be good to go. With this chassis system, there's a lot of different options for you. You can run the brace, which is questionable with the ATF right now, or you can run an SBR setup with the stock. It actually ships with the brace. However,
He's talking about that new law that passed, right? Where you
Bump
can't
stock.
have a,
We're gonna wait top to bottom.
well, the stock
We have
that
the
you
Colosun
can't.
AEMS.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty awesome.
Converts
Red
it.
dot.
Yeah.
You can put a full-size dot on here if you wanted. You could put an EOTech. However, we chose to do this option. Something to keep in mind about red dots is you can't run an optic mounted on your slide. Obviously, it'll hit the plastic of the chassis. Next up, we have an X-Carry 3.9-inch Sig Sauer slide. This is actually one of the older slides I have. However, it works great for this because it's not optics cut. With this setup, we're running a threaded barrel from Zafiri Precision. Attached to the threaded barrel, we have the Harrington Arms HC 320XL. We specifically designed this compensator for the Flux
Now
chassis
let's
system.
all act like we
We
know what
reduced
he's
the
talking
side ports so your
Yeah.
thumb isn't going to be getting
Ooh,
blasted. with the
compensator.
gases.
Yeah,
And with the
that's a
two
good
top
choice.
ports,
I
it's gonna have
compensate
a
on
lot
the
less
daily.
muzzle flip, as you're going to see later in the Mantis results. We opted to run a goon beam on this. I prefer the 1,000
the
lumen,
goon beam.
higher candela
Yeah,
lights
beam.
rather than
My
pistol
choice.
Just
light.
the light.
What's also kind of nice is my trigger finger. I can
That's
reach
pretty
it.
cool. Yeah.
It doesn't extend out pass the muzzle very far. It's actually pretty compact for how big of a weapon like this is. Finishing it off, we have the Harrington Arms mag extension in here. You can also run the Sig Sauer 21 rounders.
There's your magazines, Jake.
Both of these make a really nice combination. You can carry a lot of rounds in such a small,
21?
compact setup. But that's
21.
enough of an overview.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
awesome.
talk about how the Raider actually works. On the system, you're actually
That's
going to
definitely
have
illegal in
safety,
Colorado.
which is kind of nice for a submachine gun setup. I didn't think I would use it until we started shooting it more, and this is something I can actually appreciate. And it is on both sides, as I said. What's really cool about this system is how much it can collapse. You can see it's in such a small package, and with just a push of a lever, it shoots the stock out. Really smart thinking on this.
I
You
really
can just
want
grab
one
the
of
Raider
those
out
right
of a
now.
bag, deploy the stock, and
That's cool.
use it as a great little truck gun or a home defense setup. On this, we have the standard
truck
mag
gun.
release, which is great.
I like the
Also
home.
have
It
this
fits everybody in frickin' the
mag
House
release,
and
which is
Senate
really
that
awesome.
that's a
It
home
drops
defense
both
weapon.
magazines, so it
Doesn't
makes
guy have a
reloads
hickey on his neck?
incredibly fast.
Yep.
Talking about up here, this is
think it's
not
a
a vertical
birth,
foregrip.
but-
However, it's a really
Nope.
great place to put your hand
Full on
when
hickey.
shooting. I think it's part of the reason why recoil is so soft.
Clearly,
in this chassis
Oh, yeah,
system.
that-
Talking about
that
mag releases,
stock
you
pulls
also
in
have
the
one on the other
poon.
side if you're used to an M4 or an AR-15 style mag release.
You seen this
which is really
extendable
nice. They kinda
stock?
thought about everything when it comes
I would
to
like
this
to
setup.
suck your
I'm
neck
actually not
right
running
now.
a sling on this setup. However, you can if you want. There's 2 sling swivels on here. I just find it would kind of get in the way with how small this setup is. I don't really need it. I'm not gonna be taking this out and doing recce with it, so I didn't really want to put a sling on here.
Oh,
but
yeah. Recce.
if you want to, you can. So now you know the details. Let's run
I
some
don't know what
drills and see how it
that is.
performs.
Show me.
Wrecky.
We got a 7.66 on this little course of fire. We got A-zone, A-zone, A-zone.
That little guy?
This target.
Don't worry about that.
2
little guy.
A-zone.
Don't worry about
trigger
that little
feed-
guy.
Trigger freeze and only got 2 rounds off. Not a big deal. Third
Not a
target,
big
Gentlemen,
deal.
looking
if
at
you're done, I will
2
continue with my
A-zone
briefing.
and a C-zone.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we're looking at 2 A-zone and a C-zone. Pretty
Yeah.
fun little course of fire. Let's do
2
a
in the
couple
taint,
more
1 in the
and
left
see what we
nip.
do.
Done. How'd you hit his taint? It's the stock. Tell you what.
It's the bump. It's the bump.
Good thing I had the flashlight there. Boop, boop.
If I didn't have, God damn it.
I'd like to shoot one of those.
It does look pretty cool, honestly.
I want to shoot
Oh,
one.
yeah. Look at that.
I want to shoot one.
So here are some of the variants.
I'm going to assume that it's not commercial. Can you get it
No, you
commercial?
can buy one.
No, it is commercial. It is
Is
commercial.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they're testing it with the military to see if they can, if the military will buy it. Because you can get,
Yeah, these things have been around for a couple of years.
yeah,
Is that
yeah,
the standard
right.
320 just in there?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome. I don't know how much they go for, but that would be really fun, especially if you had any kind of range that was close that you could do that walk-in range.
Yeah.
But, so that's what they're considering.
I like the weapon.
They said the 19th Special Forces Group is testing the Fluctuator with the M17. It also seems that Flux was awarded a contract with the U.S. Navy, which has led many to think the Raider is in testing with the Navy SEALs. So,
Well, the Navy does love dumb pistols. You know, the SEALs were running the Mark 23, the HK Mark 23, which was this enormous. They called it offensive handgun. It was 45 caliber, and it's a beast of a gun. And then they got into the HK MP7, and both of those have seemed to fall kind of. You know, they were Gucci guns there for a while, but people just kind of go back to, well, I'll just take my carbine. And
oh, really?
yeah, I mean, you get better ballistics and everything out of a rifle, and if you're gonna go kill someone, go do it the right way.
Well,
But-
and that whole thing about the Fluctuator, that's just for your pistol, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You would think you would have something.
But what real mission set is a military, special operations unit going to need that for?
I don't know.
Well, and does it really? I mean, the question would be then: any difference between holding the actual handgun versus holding it with the system of the Flux Raider.
Well, sure. I'd
Yeah.
much rather do that. But I mean, with that stock extended and all that stuff, I mean, the MP4.
Is it a better firing platform? That's the question.
I mean, how much bigger was the M4?
Not much. I mean,
that
especially
short
when
barrel
you chop
M4.
the barrel.
Yeah.
Right, right.
It just gave you a better platform on the front grip underneath the
Yeah.
barrel.
Yeah. But still fun. Still fun to look at. So, all right.
Unfortunately, it's out of stock right now on Flux Defense website.
Is it really?
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Just when you thought, does it list any prices?
About 500, 500 to 600.
Yep.
Oh shit! Is it really?
Right. The right hand brace, $489.99. And then the add 1.5 or 3 to the stock, and then it jumps up to the total price of $598.99.
What's that? That 6-hour P320? That's got to be what, $1,100, $1,200?
Probably
No, it's
7,
not
8.
bad.
You think it's cheaper?
Eric gave me it was cheaper than the Glock. I went in to buy the Glock 17.
Yeah.
At the BX, and it was like $150 cheaper than that one.
Oh, was it?
So,
really? Oh shit.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, and then Eric gave me the warning where I could look it up on SIG's website, because early on they had an issue with
them shooting you in the leg inadvertently.
random desk pops.
Yeah.
That's not.
Still a cool weapon, man.
The weird thing is, though, it's similar to the Glock, where there's no like safety, actual like latch or switch.
Right.
It's all trigger safety.
Bing, bing, bing. Keep your finger up.
My safety.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're full of the movie quotes tonight.
Always.
Wasn't that
Black Hawk
Down?
I know, but that not Eric Bana, but the guy he was playing. I was reading an article. He's got a whiskey. So
really, the Delta guy?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it was the Delta guy.
Was Hoot or something like that. Or something like that. So he's got a whiskey. I was reading about, because I was thinking about doing that article, but they didn't list like 2 of the 4 whiskeys made by these Army guys, but one of them was that guy from Black Hawk Down. So
that's cool.
That's cool.
All right, quick one just to give this guy some props from the Air Force Times. This is one of the few airmen to ever hit 10,000 flying hours. Oof. So on October 25th, Lieutenant Colonel Bob Legend Volpe, or Volpe, I don't know how to say his last name.
How appropriate is that?
Yeah, right. An Air Force Reserve instructor pilot at the 5th Flying Training Squadron at Vance Air Force Base, Oklahoma, reached a milestone the service says is very uncommon. 10,000 hours in the cockpit.
Wow.
Fucking amazing.
Any combat flying time, or is it all just
it's
training?
all training. It's all training.
I like how we just judge him.
I know. It's lousy. Well, there was an interview, and he even says how he did not want to go to training right out of flight school. But looking back over the last 30 years, he's glad he did. So I did look up how much pilots fly on an annual basis, active duty guys, and they're saying it's like roughly 130 hours per year.
Oh, that's all.
So do your own calculations from that. Yeah, 130 hours per year. That's like 10 hours a month.
This guy's been flying his ass off.
He got there through a combination of years in the Air Force Reserve, avoiding command jobs that would have taken him out of the cockpit.
Avoiding combat? Did I hear you say avoiding combat?
No, you heard my mush mouth saying avoiding command jobs that would have taken him out of the cockpit, and signing up for as many sorties as he could muster. Volpe earned his commission through ROTC in 1988. He graduated from pilot training and now closed Reese Air Force Base in Texas in 1990. and he began his Air Force career as a T-38 Talon instructor before switching gears to fly the C-130 Hercules. He later returned to teaching in the T-37 Tweet and T-6 Texan II. So he is set to retire in April 2024 with 10,000 hours of flight time.
That's a hell of an accomplishment.
That's pretty cool, honestly. You have to admire a guy that's willing to say, nope, I know what I enjoy doing.
Right.
And I'm gonna
Agreed.
I'm gonna actively avoid or turn down promotions. And then they're able to do that in the reserve where you're like,
I don't want the promotion.
Good. Right.
Yeah.
And
active duty, they would have been like,
if you
cool,
turn
you don't
down,
want a promotion,
you
go
got
to
a couple
building one
times.
until you're done.
You're out.
Right.
You're out.
They only give you a couple times to turn down extra promotion before they're like, okay, now you're just staying.
You're fodder.
Yeah.
Of course, Maverick was able to do it. So.
Well,
My hero. My hero.
But I think actually Yeager, that was sort of similar to Chuck Yeager, right? Because he stayed as a test pilot for a long ass time.
Yeah, but I think test pilot versus
Training
instructor is
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying. Maverick.
I'm not
Yeager,
shitting
Colonel
on legend like Eric did.
But I just thought the combat.
I
piece
think
was
test
just...
pilots are more, a more niche area.
Eric threw that out there pretty damn quick.
Eric's like 10 seconds.
Dude,
any combat? No.
No combat. It's not as impressive.
Oh, well, 10,000 hours with an asterisk.
That equates to
I got 10,000 hours on
no
the toilet.
time at all. No time
Just
at
on
all.
this last cruise. Tell you what, that Scandinavian food got me.
I'm not impressed, Colonel. I'm not impressed.
Yeah, and you're talking to a Stinger troop who never fired a Stinger.
Yes, yeah.
I shot a video stinger. I put a launch up there on the screen, baby.
Yeah.
I did.
I shot the gun on an AC-130 playing
really?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Playing Call of Duty.
Counts.
Didn't at the beginning of was it the Ukraine war when they had was it the Ghost of Ukraine or whatever? But they were showing screenshots from one of the video games or some shit like that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's like that
Probably.
movie Gran Turismo, where the guy is finding video gamers who play this realistic Formula One racing game.
Right.
Yeah.
And he converts them, finds the best 4 or 5 drivers and converts them to real world Formula One drivers. Puts them in the car, and one guy excels. Pretty amazing.
That
just from the video.
Exactly.
The physicality of that has got to be impressive. Going from a video game guy to those drivers are so physically fit. It is unbelievable.
Too, yeah.
And, and if you haven't seen the movie, watch the movie because it's based on the true story of the dragon.
Actually pretty good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
But I heard you could actually go from like video game stuff to drone stuff.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Sense, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not feeling the G's in any of that kind of stuff. You're like, meh.
Well, no.
And the guy in the movie tells him you're going to pull more G's than guys walking through the moon or flying in a jet. And those guys have never been behind an actual vehicle doing 290 miles an hour.
I don't know. Mav was pulling 10 G's on that pull out.
Yep. Maverick did it. I saw it.
Not a Formula One car.
Formula One car is not pulling 10 G's.
He had a Ninja motorcycle.
He did have a Ninja. He still had that Ninja motorcycle, right?
He still had that Ninja. Yeah, I was like, geez.
I'm so lost now, by the way. I'm just so lost.
He went in the movie Maverick. He had his original motorcycle from Top Gun.
No, I'm talking about how we went from Gran Turismo, real world. Okay.
We went from calling real world pilots with 10,000 hours pussies
because of no combat.
because I did a simulator shooting a missile to race car drivers that were recruited from a video game.
That went off the fucking rails.
It was a good.
Sure.
I was trying to give you a comparison.
I like it.
It may have
Yeah.
failed,
It
but
failed.
that's where I was going.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
I like that.
I appreciate
Let's
it.
do this.
That puts your good
In
podcast
jeopardy.
conduct medal in jeopardy.
There we go.
I hate failures. That's all right. I'm already bored.
All right,
of
one more
historian
story.
anyway.
One more story to make a comeback here, Eric. One more story.
Yep.
Remember when we did that story about the Army who was going to create? They were going to create an MOS just for recruiting. They were going to just hire people in to be
Yep.
lifelong recruiters, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're not there yet,
No.
obviously, and they are in pretty big trouble with what the formula they got for recruiting now is.
Eesh.
So recently, the Army has really short noticed some of these guys going into these recruiting assignments. This is from the Army Times. The Army apologizes for sending soldiers last-minute recruiting orders. So what happened? All last week, non-commissioned officers across the Army have received notices through their branch managers and other officials that the service needs more recruiting NCOs, and it needs them now. According to requisition emails posted to social media channels like Army Reddit, could you imagine being in charge of people nowadays where every little thing you're going to say is going to be posted
Yeah.
to either make you
No.
look stupid or make you look foolish or can you believe this shit or, any of that stuff. So everything is all put out somewhere. Reddit, Facebook, everything, right?
And I was just about to say, if you'll extend the re-enlistment or recruitment to 60, maybe I would join. And then, no, I won't do that. Because we went out to 42, right? 42?
42 is when
it's
you can
42
join.
now.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys can still come back. Me, I'm past my prime. So,
Sometimes
Yeah, I'm outside that window.
yeah, cool.
Yeah. So,
I'm safe.
Sometimes I think you think we're all like 30 years younger than you.
I know how old you are. Jake, I'm now because I know I've known him. John's 42. He was easy. He's a
Because
dad.
we said it at the beginning.
He's a dad.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got
why.
twins coming. I'm all
We
over
did the
that,
pre-brief.
man. I'm all
All
over
right,
that.
Gran Torino.
Turismo.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
According to requisition emails posted to social media channels like Army Reddit, the Army is seeking volunteers to attend recruiting school as soon as last Monday, November 6th,
Wow.
and has waived a host of standing qualifications in order to boost attendance. But other users reporting received notifications for involuntary orders directing them to attend the course of Fort Knox, Kentucky. After. Whoa, what was that echo
Whoa.
from?
That was nice.
That was weird, wasn't it? Did we all hear
I like it.
That was
I
weird.
heard it.
I didn't hear it.
I don't know.
happened?
I said it after, and then it echoed everywhere. After public outcry about the move and instruction from General Randy George, the service's chief of staff, the Army's top personnel officer, Lieutenant General Doug Stitt, spoke with reporters last Wednesday and apologized to the soldiers and the families that received this last-minute notification and told reporters that mistake is mine.
Hmm.
Oh, that's good. He came up
Yeah,
and stepped
that's
up.
At least he's taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And they're like,
absolutely.
so does that mean the orders are not valid? And he's like, oh, no, they're still valid.
You're still going.
That's my mistake. Sorry about that. Because
I
they
just should
didn't,
have
they didn't
notified
rescind
them
any of them.
before posting it
Yeah.
on Army Reddit.
Next time, I've
Pack your
learned my
shit.
lesson. According to
Here's a
Stitt,
crap assignment still.
Oh, yeah, you're still going.
Yeah.
But just know in your heart,
We're
that was-
apologizing.
that's on me.
My bad.
Apologize.
Yeah,
I
my
bet.
bad.
I'm gonna send you a coffee
According to General Stitt, the sudden need emerged when the Army discovered it faced a recruiter shortage due to errors in its, and errors is in quotes, errors in its forecasted recruiter strength.
Go figure.
How?
Would have
I
never.
like
figured.
how it's a mystery.
What? Sir, I got the PCS
How did this
list
happen?
here. I got everybody who's PCSing right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know who's coming in yet? Have no
Nope.
idea.
Mystery.
Not a clue.
All right, let's
Have you
table that.
talked to anybody above us? Nope.
Nope.
I kind of like to give them surprises to keep them on their toes.
But don't worry, gentlemen. Don't worry. The 3-star claimed the unspecified forecasting failures have been fixed.
Here's your spreadsheet. We'll track it all.
We got a
That's right.
spreadsheet.
We'll track it all.
Just like Ukraine. It's all good.
Like Ukraine.
It's like Dumb and Dumber, the IOU envelope.
It
Ooh,
is.
that's a big one. I'd hold
You
on.
want to
to
hold
that.
on to this one? That's a car.
375,000.
Yeah. I owe you that.
He declined to link the shortfall to recruiting command's ongoing purge of non-performing recruiters. So, and that I can see that.
Purge.
They're like, we getting rid of those lazy ass recruiters out there? Yes, sir, we are. All right. Where's the new crop? Hey, sir, we got rid of a lot. A lot of guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of lazy motherfuckers over here.
Oh my God.
The Army hopes to source an additional 800 attendees for the November, and December courses. The November course would just start on Monday. At the
Sir, we may
recruiting
have
school.
to extend that enlistment to 50.
That could be.
Get those guys in.
But Stitt emphasized that officials would consider individual hardships when meting out assignments, even if it means not filling all 800 seats. So if a soldier has a life situation, family situation, professional situation, a chain of command of the career manager and human resources command is not identifying, we're going to talk to that soldier. We're going to work through this to ensure that we have the right NCOs at the right time. In a week,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pack your
that guy
bags,
gets the orders.
man.
He's like, who do I tell that I got a hardship? And it's like, too late. You're already late for
Go
reporting.
on.
Yeah. Was your
How is he
hardship in
gonna
your
up-channel that?
record?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
They're just going to go, oh, this guy's a no-show. You know?
You're done. Now we're kicking
Start
you
the
out, by the
paperwork.
way. We're kicking you out.
Yeah, I do wonder what the follow-up's going to be because they've got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
I mean, you got like the what is it, the exceptional family member program and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Like,
There's a
FMP,
ton
you
of
know,
it.
people
Yeah.
that have kids with special needs and
Even if you're dual military or whatever, you know, it's just like anybody who gets asked to move in a week, God forbid you're living off base. You'll never get out of it, right?
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Closing up a house in a
I gotta
week?
kill my lease, but wait, my wife is still here and she's doing military and she's not going anywhere. So
Or kids in the middle of school, too. I mean, think about this whole thing. Like,
yeah, but the general said that was his bad.
My bad.
That's on me, guys.
My
It's
bad.
on me. Stitt and his enlisted advisor, Sergeant Major Christopher Stevens, said the service has expanded its cash and career incentives to reward those who complete these short notice assignments, regardless of whether they volunteer. So here's what they're giving out.
that's cool, at least.
Sergeant
comes
Major
checkbook.
Stevens said that in addition to a one-time lump sum bonus of $5,000 available to volunteer Army selected recruiters who complete recruiter training by February, listen to this one. Any sergeant who completes, any E5 who completes the school and successfully reports to the recruiting assignment will be promoted to E6. Boom.
Just like that.
Just like that.
All right.
Wow.
That promotion will occur regardless of the soldier's promotion points, time and grade, or completion of professional military education.
Is it permanent then?
Yeah.
Or
I
is
would
it
assume
like,
so.
well, is it like on hold until they
No.
finish
Well, you got
PME?
you got to graduate the recruiting school in February.
Yeah,
And
but
they
then
say, hey,
you
boom.
have PME.
I don't care how
requirements.
many points. I don't care what your education
It
is.
says they're waiving the PME.
Yeah, they're just like they're waiving all of it. E5 to E6, and $5,000 in your pocket.
Like a battlefield promotion.
I think I now know where all the bonus money went that was supposed to be for the reserve guys.
Now wait a minute. They're like, this guy gets to the end of
We'll
February.
take
He's
that
like,
bonus.
boom, E6,
$5,000.
$5,000, and they're like, about that $5,000.
Hold
Finally,
the
I can
phone.
get off Wick.
Yeah.
Little snag, little hang up. That's on me though. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not on you.
I
That's
take
on
full
me.
responsibility.
Can you imagine the pressure? Like, what's the average age of these individuals?
For recruitment.
E5, E5,
No,
E6?
E5, E6,
So what?
Somewhere
E5,
Yeah,
right?
23,
29, 30 maybe.
A
Okay,
little
so
older than 23, I
mid
would
20s to
Mid
maybe
20s,
30.
mid to late 20s for an E5. Yeah.
I mean, most of them are established in their probably first or second marriage.
Yeah, they got
Can
a
you
kid in there
imagine?
somewhere, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, the
He's doing Amway,
like
but
social
that's not
freaking-
supplementing the bills, right?
she's full on Scentsy and Tupperware or whatever it is.
She's got the Mary Kay going, but somehow
Yeah.
it's not rolling in yet.
Man,
Oh,
the pressure at home you just threw all these guys into, or all these people into,
whatever,
is
young marriages,
insane.
you're trying to get along with her, and now she's got the kids. She's trying to balance this shit. They're barely making it on WIC, maybe. And you come in and go, hey, we got to go to Kentucky. When? Well, I got to go next week.
I have to go next week, and I don't have an assignment yet, so
Right.
I'll find that out if I
After.
graduate the class.
This might be something to go, hey, go tell your young wife you're going to get $5,000 for that.
Yeah.
And
I
And I'll
mean-
keep it all to you, honey.
guess what, honey? I get $1,000 bonus. It's all yours.
Yeah.
This will fix everything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I mean,
the
because
times
you
have
know they don't,
changed.
they're
Woo.
not cutting orders until they graduate that class or till the last week or two of that
Right.
class.
Right.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
think about us in basic. We didn't know where we were going for sure.
It just seems like so much stuff is promised that on the other end of that, to trust the paperwork bureaucracy that's going to follow up. And he's like, hey, they said, and they're like, yeah, but nothing was ever. You just signed a contract for that.
No.
And I mean,
How many
I
stories
think
have
that-
we done about the failure of those promises made,
Right,
man?
yeah.
It seems like
I mean, and we've seen the board system. I've never seen the Army board system. I've seen it in the Air Force, and it changes. And we just did that article on the Marine Corps, like, hey, you need to get some Pacific time,
Yeah.
but it's
Right.
not required, but it looks really
But
good.
it's
Yeah.
really
And
encouraged.
we've seen it.
Yeah.
You should have a degree by this point in time, or you got to get this. How are these guys going to get affected where, hey, my E5, E6 PME was waived? And
Well,
they're
sure.
like,
now
Well,
you're
it's-
not going
Never
to get
completed.
promoted to E7. No E8,
It's
no
like the
E9.
old days. If you volunteered for a unaccompanied tour or a,
Yeah.
hardship tour, oh, you got your choice of base coming back, right? Do you?
that no, absolutely not.
Right.
I know for a fact because we were supposed to get base of preference coming out of the schoolhouse because that's not a job everybody volunteers for.
Right.
So
Right.
we were supposed to get that. They were so low on manning at another assignment on Vandenberg, right? The J Spock or C Spock,
Oh,
that all the
man.
instructors, we went to an auditorium and all the space instructors, they were like, hey, everyone for the next 2 years is not PCSing. They're going to PCA to the J Spock.
Oop.
I know you wanted base of preference, and I know you guys volunteered or non-voled to this
Based on
assignment.
that,
Yeah. And they were like, but no, you're going to one of the crappiest ops assignments in the Space Force. Or what was viewed as it. I don't know.
Right. I hope
And
the base
that-
of preference is the base that you're on because
leaving
I know you prefer this, right?
we were leaving the Philippines after the volcano blew, and it
Yeah.
was the same
Right,
way.
right.
Here's your base president. I say, well, I want Florida. I'm sorry, there's nothing available in Florida. How about in South Carolina? No, nothing available in South Carolina. All I got for you is Colorado. You want to go to Colorado? I guess that's my base of preference now.
oh shit, they couldn't.
You know
fill
what?
up-
I do prefer Colorado.
Colorado
Thank you.
sounds good to me. I'll take it.
Really? They
Colorado or no or.
No. Oh, there would have been a North Dakota, Minot,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Minot,
exactly it.
Malmstrom, FE Warren. They always need Sure
Oh.
good there.
Oh shit, you
Yeah.
can go lovely Cavalier, right?
Oof. Cavaliers.
Missile fields.
Well, listen to
That's
this one.
all they wanted.
In addition to volunteer bonuses and sergeant promotions, Sergeant Major Stevens announced that staff sergeants selected in the current wave of recruiter assignments will earn meritorious promotion, in quotes, to sergeant first class if they secure 24 recruits who ship to basic training in a 12-month span.
And get a recruitment ribbon. Woohoo!
Whoa.
So you get in there as a E6. You get 24 people to go to basic, E7.
How long is it a
Unbelievable.
recruitment assignment?
I think it's usually like 2 years, isn't it? 2 or 3 years? I don't
So
know. It's a
within
special
2
duty, so
years-
I think it's like 2 years, right?
Well, you would think
Do
it'd be
they-
longer with this little operation. They got
Do they
going.
have a time and grade requirement, or is it 2 years?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Because
about
they're going from
Jake,
E5 to
it. You're asking
E6.
a lot of questions here.
I know.
A lot of
I'm just
details.
trying. They're going E5 to E6 right after graduation, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then potentially within the first year,
2 years
they
to
get
go
2 per
E5
month.
to E7?
if they get 2 per
Whoa!
month, they could make it within
to
Hmm.
the
E7
next. Yeah,
in 2 years.
That's
No, not
absurd.
even 2 years.
less.
In 1 year, 1.5 years. 1
Yeah.
year, 3 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's broke about this? This is broke.
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
to be fair, we saw a lot of traditional reservists in the United States Air Force Reserve bounce through this shit just like it with zero leadership ability. They couldn't write their name on a piece of paper, but they're getting promoted left and right. That's
Broke.
yeah, precisely.
let's
valid.
do that. Let's do that. Let's use Eric's cop plan first, right? So let's say they took one of your guys. You're both E5s,
Mhm.
right? He goes for a 2-year recruiting assignment. He comes back. You're still an E5. He's now an E7.
He's 7. And now I'm talking
At your
bad about him
same
again.
assignment.
And you curse that guy out as an A1C? You
At
are
the
going to
gate.
destroy this guy.
I'm going to let him have it. That's just broke, man. That is so broke.
That is valid though, Johns. Honestly, a lot of those the reserve still has the same time and grade time and service requirements.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is have an open slot and your PME done, and you're good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it always
That's
shocked me when so many troops were like, I'm good. I don't want to finish my PME. And we're like, I got orders. You can get on orders. You could sit over there at that desk and study. And
Yeah,
then
for 3 weeks.
and at the
Yeah.
end of those orders, the next UTA, you can
You
get
promote.
promoted.
You get promoted.
You're like, I don't want to take any time off work. I'm good.
Yeah, it's just a different motivation now.
All right.
You know, it's a guy who's doing reserves or guard, who's
Yeah.
just like, I'm just doing this partly for the clearance, partly for the paycheck. I'm not trying to shoot the moon on rank. You know, I'm good.
Do you believe us 4 could go back in the military right now and survive the new military that we're talking about?
I think so.
I
think-
absolutely could not.
I'm
I would
not
have,
sure.
and I don't think
we
it's
could survive
the
it. I don't think
new
we
military.
tolerate it. We wouldn't enjoy
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't like it. And like you said about the woke part of it, where everything is recorded and videotaped, and you couldn't say anything without somebody being upset.
Right. I brought that up before. I couldn't go back in because I mean, I've got a big mouth, and now you can be brought down very easily without any ability to defend yourself.
Yeah. No, I don't think I could do it.
As soon
at
as
all.
you're accused of, oh, Eric's got an OnlyFans page, we got to take him out. And they're like, oh shit, you're gonna bring up that? That's just
It's not even
income
active. It's
I'm
supplemental.
not
off duty,
active.
man. I'm off duty.
I haven't posted in 2 months.
I only wore my
Off
helmet
duty,
twice.
but on duty.
I only wore my helmet twice in an op, so come on.
Safety first, Eric. Safety first. Those fluids were on that helmet when I got it. I swear.
I discount the membership. I discount it, goddammit.
It's like the
I have
blue
a
dress.
military discount.
Get that off It won't come off.
Yeah, I think I'm just too cynical. Like as soon as they start giving me an additional duty, it's like make sure to do whatever.
Right.
And I'd be like, nobody gives a crap about this, and it's only to check a box for some commander or some other person to come. It doesn't matter. This does not matter.
They'd be like, hey,
You know?
Sergeant Wall, you are overdue for CII training. We need you to do that today before you go home. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Because you're red. And we don't want you to be red.
Those online training, that's one thing the Air Force did train me for, is because I can pass an online CBT
almost every one of them, yeah.
Instantly.
Within
Man,
2
I will
times.
crank
I
that.
can pass any test within 2 times.
Other than Siri, that Sears one,
that one sucked. Yeah,
and because you can't get any wrong.
But they got smart, and they did that computer training where you can't click forward. You got to listen to the guy who's like, hey, I forgot my ID. Can you let me in through the door? What do you do? Bloop, 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 bloop. And you're like, God damn it.
Yep. Yeah.
Times have changed, boys. Times have changed.
They
boys.
do online survival training, evasion training, right?
Yeah.
That SEER training is online, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're locked in a room. What are you going to do? And I'm like, teabag the freaking doorknob and then accuse the guy of being gay when he comes in, touching my balls. I don't know. Like the worst day in my life is no lumbar support. You got me,
No
man.
lumbar support.
Yeah, it's like
no.
If
it's
I'm in this situation, we're screwed.
Or the armrest is broken because that's a pain in the ass chair to sit in.
Somebody looks like a 4-year-old just gnawed it to shreds. You're like, what happened here?
And it's in the corner with a bunch of other little severed arms and bolts that people have just thrown over there.
There's the chair graveyard in any space ops area. There's a room
chair graveyard
or a section against the wall where there are dead chairs.
Is that where the one lost printer is?
Oh yeah, that's guaranteed.
There's more than one. Yeah.
There's a stack.
All right.
What do we do with that? I don't know. Are we just going to let it biodegrade in the corner?
Take it off the hand receipt. Take it off the hand receipt.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
On that note, gentlemen, I think we're at shift change. I think it's time to get out of here.
Woo.
Oh, yeah.
Word that podcast didn't know.
We're all mediocre at that.
I think no award today.
Okay, nice.
Mike Johns would have had it. He didn't make any dad jokes, but he was late.
Well, there you go.
And Eric and I are just bald. So
get that off that helmet.
It's an uphill
You
battle.
got a big advantage with that hair, Mike.
Harassed.
But as we go into Veterans Day weekend, gentlemen, have a good Veterans Day.
You as well.
I'm a retiree, not a veteran, but we won't rehash that.
I have no comment.
But do have a good Veterans Day, and all you listening, have a Veterans Day. And on behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. Make sure next week that you are not
late for changeover.
And Eric, don't forget when you stop by Sonic for your free Veterans Day corn dog. Just splurge a little. Get some tops.
Okay. Good call. Might even get a Frosty.
Man, thanks for the week. I'll see you next week, and happy Veterans Day.
All right, fellas. Take it easy.